In this video, I'm going over my top 5 picks for the best shader packs of 2024 so far. And be sure to stick around until the end of the video because I think you'll be surprised at my top pick. Alright, I'm Avo, and let's jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give some clarification of how this list will work. I'm running each pack on the highest default settings so as to give the best possible quality straight out of the box. This list assumes you just want to download a shader, choose the quality preset, and start playing without too much hassle with the settings. The only thing I do go out of my way to disable is motion blur. Another prerequisite was that each pack has to overhaul each of the 3 vanilla dimensions. So packs like Voyager won't be in this video as the end dimension just looks straight up disgusting. Now that we got the ground rules set, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5 is Makeup Ultra Fast Shaders. This pack is great for someone who may not have as powerful of a PC but still want great graphics. The pack is fast, light, and customizable. The skybox looks great with detailed realistic clouds and a bright blue sky in the day, and while the night isn't anything to write home about, it is a much needed improvement over the vanilla sky. The colors are bright and feel almost exactly how vanilla Minecraft would feel if it just had better lighting. The water in the pack is great with the reflections being pretty high quality on ultra settings. The Nether also won't necessarily blow your mind, but it does have some much needed upgrades when it comes to lighting, so that's nice. And while the end is still pretty basic compared to what we have coming up on the list, I think the skybox is quite cool and is definitely a step up from vanilla while keeping the vanilla feel going. So if you're just looking for something with super vanilla vibes that also has some great lighting, water textures, and good reflections without catching your house on fire because your GPU melted, then Makeup Ultra Fast should be your go-to choice. Coming in at number 4 is Bliss Shaders. Now the reason Bliss Shaders is at number 4 is because while it looks great, I don't necessarily feel blissly when looking at it. The colors are somewhat bright, but in some places also feel kind of dull or flat compared to even Makeup Ultra Fast. Bliss has a great simple overworld skybox in the day, and at night I think the skybox is superior to that of the Makeup Ultra Fast. The colors at night are how I feel like colors should look in a night in Minecraft. The way the moon casts its bluish white light down along with the fog in the distance makes the night in this pack just great compared to a lot of other packs out there. And just to quickly touch on water, it looks okay, but for me it isn't the focus of the pack. Underwater looks cool, it's just super cloudy, so it's not my preference. And then moving over to the Nether, it's also really cool with these nice little tornado looking steam clouds coming up from the floor, and the lava is a nice dark red, so it doesn't really make my eyes feel like.
Deploying flashbang. Smoke. Throwing flashbang.
While this shader doesn't do the most when it comes to changing things in the Nether, what it does do, it does really well. And while we're on the topic of other dimensions, let's talk about the end. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about the end. It has this nice fog effect, which makes things feel mysterious and dark, but at the same time, it adds this lightning effect that makes the ground light up in a really weird way, and honestly, gets kind of annoying and can sometimes even hurt your eyes if you're playing with a brighter screen in a darker room. The effect is cool when it's farther away, but when it's up close, I can't really say that I like it all that much. I don't know, but let me know what you think in the comments, and maybe you guys agree, maybe you don't. Coming in at number 3 is Solus. Solus is kind of how I remember life being when I was a kid. Colorful, bright, and happy. Now it's just taxes and crippling credit card debt. But anyway, the water looks great, above and below, with a tropical vibe going for it. I personally think this pack has the best water out of any pack on this list. Underwater has some subtle rays coming down from the sun, and it's clear enough to see while also not looking like you just drank 3 pints of night vision potions. The sky is bright and colorful in the day, with lots of fluffy looking cloud coverage that I'm convinced if I slept on instead of my bed that my lower back wouldn't feel as if I've been hit by a truck in the morning. And continuing the trend for the night, we have even more improvements with the skybox being colorful but not overly bright, with the addition of an aurora borealis type effect sweeping over your head. My only issue is that I prefer the night from the Bliss pack over this one when it comes to the coloration of the blocks. Because the blocks in this pack seem overly bright, as if it's less of a moon shining down and more of an F350 with somehow still legal sunbeams for headlights shining down, the ground is just a little too bright. Now moving over to the Nether, this pack adds a fog effect as well, but instead of tornado type fog, we have a more floating fog that just kind of moves around your screen. So really it would come down to preference. The lava is a little more overpowering than I would like, but again, that also comes down to preference as well. And as a side note, the glowstone looks pretty good in this pack. Moving over to the end is another major reason why I put this pack above Bliss on the list. The end has a super spacey, dreamy feel. On top of the space-like stars, universe. You have this really cool kind of colorful fog and this amazing black hole portal looking thing in the sky. All of this combined by itself definitely convinced me that this pack is top 3 worthy. Jumping in at number 2 is complimentary, specifically the unbound version with the Euphoria patches enabled. And I know some of you thought this was going to be number 1, but I kind of felt like that was kind of cheating and I wanted to give more of a different type of opinion than other people out there. So let's first talk about the night in this pack, as this is by far one of my favorite features about this entire pack. And as a disclaimer, I didn't for the video, but in my own playthroughs with this shader, I always max out the stars and the night nebulae. The night is so fantasy feeling without taking away from the fact that you are still playing Minecraft and not Skyrim. The night nebula is amazing looking. The moon looks great. The colors are more of a blue than a black for the space in between the stars, which I really prefer over what other packs have done. But overall, Complimentary Unbound has the most top tier night sky out of any pack. But just like the night in the Solus pack, I think it makes the blocks a little too bright when it comes to how the moon casts down onto them. I would still much prefer the way the Bliss pack does it, but overall, still a step up. Morning, midday, and sunset look amazing in this pack, especially morning and sunset with how bright and warm the colors are. The way the sun comes down through the trees in the morning and closer to evening is next to top tier, if not top tier in that respect. This pack also has some of the most extensive customization out of any pack, allowing you to fine-tune pretty much any aspect that you'd like in the pack. The lava in the Nether has a fantastic texture, making it feel dynamic and different from other packs. There is some fog, but as a default isn't a lot, and I think personally is just the right amount. The glowstone in different biomes are great looking, and overall the pack has a really solid Nether. Now moving over to the end is where I was a little disappointed, to be honest. Compared to Solus and to our number 1 spot, I think the end really sets this shader pack back and is the main reason why I can't justify putting it at number 1. Now don't get me wrong, the end dimension looks amazing and is a major improvement over that of Vanilla, the Bliss, and the Makeup Ultra packs with its super colorful space nebula, but just for me it almost doesn't pass the vibe of what I feel like the end should be. To me it should be large and expansive, feeling almost space-like, like it's really the end of the universe, and to me Complimentary Unbound just doesn't fit that bill. The sky feels uninspired and almost spiderweb looking. While the aurora is really cool, it makes it feel really confined, almost like the end has walls instead of being open and empty. Overall, this shader pack is absolutely amazing in most ways, but the end is the reason I can't put it at number 1, and also it runs slightly worse than any of the other packs on this list. But anyway, let's get into number 1. And number 1 for me is Super Duper Vanilla Shaders. This shader pack is easily my favorite. The overworld is colorful and bright, the daytime sky is Minecraft feeling while making some serious upgrades without straying too far from what Minecraft is, and the night is just amazing looking with a dark blue sky in between the pixelated stars, and with a bright bluish white moon sending its amazingly colored light straight down to the blocks below. The night in this pack is even better than that of the Bliss pack when it comes to block coloration. Overall, it's really a toss-up between the night in this pack and the night in the Unbound pack. I think if this pack had some night nebula, then this would be hands down on top for the best nights in any shader pack. When it comes down to block color in the day, it has a somewhat warm orangish feel, which I kind of like, but I feel like I could do without the orange fog. The water looks great with the pixelated texture underneath the waving texture, which I think is just top tier when it comes to the water. The Nether looks great with the lava having differentiated colors. I would like to see some more fog in the Nether, as I think the Nether in this pack is overall one of the least compelling on the list, but where this pack shines so hard that no one can even deny is the end. Other than the top tier alterations in the overworld, the end is hands down the best looking out of anything we have looked at on this list, and probably the best I've ever seen ever, only being rivaled by the Solus shader pack. The stars, the giant black hole that clearly is bending time and space around it. I mean, the end in this pack is just so great. And if the shader pack creator ever sees this video, I want them to know this is exactly how the end should look. It's expansive, super dreamlike, and just feels like you're in the middle of a collapsing universe. With everything combined in this pack, this is hands down my favorite shader pack of at least 2024, but maybe ever. That's Super Duper Vanilla at number 1. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Please do all the YouTube things like liking and subscribing. Until next time, I'm Avo. Peace.